Gang. What's up? It's Trollbot.exe, and today we're covering the history of Kamen Rider, Episode 8. Today we're covering Kamen Riders Z-O and J. Though the two riders may look very similar at first glance, they actually have quite a bit of differences. So, let's get into that good old recap. Yee! Previously on History of Kamen Rider, after the end of Black RX, Susumu Yoshikawa considered making a more serious production, with Toei deciding to forego the TV route and instead turn to other media. Among the ideas for this next installment were Kamen Rider Gaia, a proposal by Shotari Shinomori aimed to bring Kamen Rider back to its roots. Despite the proposal never getting true steam, it would serve as the groundwork for the next few installments. Meanwhile, his son, Joe Onodera, wrote a script with Junichi Yoshida that was actually successful and resulted in Shin Kamen Rider Prologue, Kamen Rider's first foray into direct-to-VHS film. Though it was popular, a sequel was cancelled. So what would they do instead? Find out now. Another idea for this next installment was a spectacle featuring Riders 1 to Black RX, possibly a live-action adaptation of the various 11 Riders manga like 11 Kamen Riders Senki and Spacetime Hero Kamen Rider, aka the stuff that the end of Black RX was promoting. But ultimately, it was decided that an entirely new rider had to be created. This was a joint production between Yoshinori Watanabe, Makoto Yamashina, and Shigeru Okada, president of Toei. Yamashina is a film producer for Bandai. All three men decided on a strategy of aggressive promotion to drive up box office revenue, which means that they immediately aimed for the theater. There were apprehensions. The film was to premiere during Toei's Golden Week, but the past 2 years the Golden Week films bombed. Okada actually decided to keep it on Golden Week because he felt that something aimed at kids will drive up profits. So in March of 1992, it was decided to promote this new film through merchandise, a TV special, and events. The TV special in particular premiered on March 27th, 1993, titled Fights, Our Kamen Rider, the strongest rider Z-O is born. Nothing of note is in this special, but in the earliest teaser, instead of the finished suit, they instead used the suit for Kamen Rider Black, as they didn't even have a final design at this point. Speaking of Black, I have neglected to mention that it got 2 films, just like the original series. The first one being Kamen Rider Black, Hurry to Onigashima. The second one being Terrifying, The Phantom House of Devil Pass. Notably, this movie actually premiered alongside Dragon Ball Mystical Adventure on July 9th, 1988. So the first movie premiered in the spring in March, while the second movie premiered in the summer in July. Okay, back to Z-O. The first prompt was by Ishinomori, who proposed a Knight of the Sky, aka a rider who came from space. However, it was scrapped by Toei due to budget issues. So to be more specific, the project was too ambitious and required way too high of a budget. The final story/product was still unique, as unlike basically every single installment up to Black RX, the rider would come up against creatures created by one scientist, rather than the evil organizations of days long past and days yet to come. The cinematography was handled by Keita Amamiya, Meanwhile, the screenplay was written by Masaru Sugimura. The final story-wise, Dr. Mochizuki is a leading figure in genetic engineering. One day, he creates a neonoid named Doras. Born with a hunger for evolution, Doras kidnaps Mochizuki's son, Hiroshi, and attempts to force the doctor to modify Hiroshi. Meanwhile, Masaru Aso, Dr. Mochizuki's assistant, also went under a genetic modification surgery, this time having grasshopper genes injected into him by Dr. Mochizuki. He is guided by a mysterious voice to save Hiroshi from Doras. Many effects were used for the movie as it was a blend of CGI, wire action, models, and puppetry. The film's budget was around 300 million yen, nowadays $45.2 million. I checked for inflation and converting yen to US dollars. Such a relatively low budget caught the attention of the American film industry, leaving them puzzled. Zio would actually be the second writer to get a video game, with the first being Black, and Zio's game on the Sega CD would actually be released in the US, with the dialogue dubbed in English. Production lasted from November 9th, 1992 to February 3rd, 1993. The movie premiered nationwide on April 17th of 93 and grossed 450 million yen. Okada even flexed that it was the highest grossing film that April. So, what could possibly follow it up? Initially, J was supposed to release on New Year's Day of 1994, with the whole script and everything. However, plans were cancelled and the film was pushed to April. The film was shot in a whopping 20 days, and it was only shot in easily accessible areas. Fittingly, since this is considered the last installment of the Showa era, this is the last Kamen Rider installment to be completely shot on film. The main thing allowing Jay to stand out amongst the riders is his ability to grow giants, which Ishinomori and Amamiya were against, so it was only used in the last battle in the film. And now for the casting. Zyuranger's Yuta Mochizuki was cast as Jay. Another person considered was Jetman's Toshihide Wakamatsu. Jetman, if you don't know, is Zyuranger's predecessor, so... However, another actor from Jetman, Meiho Maruyama, was actually cast as the main villain, really just voice acting her. The main villain, Fog Mother, is actually the first female main villain in Rider history, so that's interesting. At the helm of screenwriting was Shozo Uehara, who wrote a draft called Kamen Rider Super. No, not like that. Interestingly, Super was supposed to have an existing rider, get beaten up by a new foe, and then get further modified by aliens a la Black RX. There were other ideas, including, again, an alien rider, which this time was interestingly scrapped by Ishinomori himself, as he felt this Kamen Rider must be human. So, for the story, at the end of the 20th century, abnormal weather patterns appear across the world, indicating that the fog, a cabal of cosmic monsters, have returned to Earth after exterminating the dinosaurs so long ago. Their empress, the Fog Mother, planned a massive hatching of her young using humans as food, one of those humans being a girl named Kana Kimura. So she orders her subordinates to kidnap her. Meanwhile, a photographer named Koji Sagawa was attacked by fog while covering a polluted lake. He tried to protect Kana but got jumped doing so, and was presumed dead. Villains never learn. Zarbon did the exact same thing to Vegeta. Now look at him. Once presumed dead, Koji underwent a reconstructive surgery by the Earth Spirits, resurrecting him as Kamen Rider J. He then confronts Fog to rescue Kana. J premiered at the Toei Superhero Festival on April 16th of 1994, following ZO the previous year. This would be the last installment made during Ishinomori's lifetime, and thus this is considered the last installment of the Showa era, even with the actual era having ended in the first week of 1989 with the Emperor dying. This is why I refer to the Showa era as the Ishinomori era. So the following year in 1995, instead of a Kamen Rider film, Japan would get Mechanical Violator Hokkaider. Okay, so next time I'm gonna cover all the side stuff associated with Phase 3, starting with Saban's Masked Rider. Oh my gosh. I have heard terrible things about this show, so wish me luck going into it. And I suppose after that, as a palate cleanser, we can cover Kamen Rider SD. So that's something to look for. In the meantime, later, fools.